Well, surprise, surprise, it should come to a surprise as absolutely nobody coming from CNBC and, of course, other sources, OpenAI to confidentially file for IPO as soon as Friday. So that's right, OpenAI is going to file for their $1 trillion IPO because Elon Musk is IPOing, ergo everybody else has to too. I feel like this almost feels like that South Park episode. Do you remember that South Park episode? Yeah, Butters, and Butters was playing a supervillain, and he was thinking about all the ways to like destroy the world or whatever else. And then his little partner in crime kept saying that the Simpsons have already done it. The Simpsons already did it. The Simpsons already did it. The Simpsons already did it. I feel like when we look at the tech world right now, so much of the time it is Elon Musk already did it. Elon Musk fires 75% of his staff. All the other tech companies are going to fire 75% of their staff, right? Elon Musk is going to IPO. Everybody else is going to IPO. Look, if it's good enough for Elon Musk to do it, obviously it's good enough for everybody else. And so I don't know. Look, to be honest with you, like what is my spit take on this? Effing disaster. Effing disaster is my spit take on this, right? So we have SpaceX is supposedly going to be IPOing on June 12th for somewhere between 1.7 to $2 trillion. If OpenAI comes out, right, they were valued at $850 billion like a month ago, so they want to get a $1 trillion valuation. And basically, when I take a look at this, I just don't think that there's enough money out there. I've said before, it's not that AI is not valuable or whatever else. It's just insane. Like when you look at OpenAI's valuation of $1 trillion compared to SpaceX of $2 trillion, you go, wow, that's a deal. But here's the thing, right? The largest IPO in U.S. history, I do believe, is Alibaba. So there's Alibaba and then there's Saudi Aramco. It gets a little confusing there. I think Saudi Aramco had a higher raise and Alibaba had a higher valuation. Anyways, let's just look at Alibaba, either the biggest IPO in history for valuation's sake, or second biggest, one of those. It was $169 billion. Like, think about this. On the low end, Elon Musk wants 10x of the highest IPO valuation ever. This is not like, well, Eli, Alibaba did IPO a few years ago, Eli. And when you look at, there's inflation. Oh, God help us, there's inflation. There's inflation. There's some changes in how the markets work, right? People are more comfortable, right? You know, you could say like, okay, well, Alibaba did $169 billion valuation. Look, SpaceX comes out at $400 billion. And you're like, okay, I still don't agree with it, but I get it. I get where you come with that number from. Like SpaceX comes out at $600 billion, like 3-4 times. Like, But SpaceX, low end, I want you to understand this. The low end valuation is over 10x of Alibaba, right? And the thing is, and then you take a look at OpenAI. And so OpenAI, it's your perspective. So when you compare OpenAI at $1 trillion valuation to SpaceX at $2 trillion, look, it doesn't make sense, but it looks better. But when you remember that Alibaba was like one of the largest IPOs in history at 160, that still means that OpenAI wants to come out at, what the fuck is that, 6, 7x what Alibaba was? And again, my whole problem, there's just not that much money. There's just not that much money. As I've said, the interesting thing that I've heard from the economists that's actually come up is a whole problem of liquidity. That even if the investors completely agree, Anthropic, OpenAI, SpaceX, they agree that these companies are worth that much money, that there is actually a question about how much money can actually be put on the table. Again, we talk about the valuation of the company versus the raise. So the valuation is the market cap, all the stocks put together, how much are they worth? So SpaceX wants that to be $2 trillion. But then there's the raise itself. how much equity, how much stock is the company actually selling. And again, when you look at Saudi Aramco, I do believe Saudi Aramco, that was the thing, they were like the highest raise. I think they raised, again, either highest or one of the highest, $29 billion was their raise, how much they sold. Again, I do believe Alibaba sold $25 billion. So think about this. The actual amount sold into the market, again, for SpaceX alone, is, again, somewhere between 2 to 3 times, what has ever been sold in the market before. And so that's just SpaceX. And then you lump OpenAI on top of that, and then you lump Anthropic onto it. And the problem that you just structurally, this crap falls apart at a certain point in time, right? So anyways, we have SpaceX, they're gonna be IPOing. Since they're IPOing, now it looks like OpenAI is trying to bring their IPO forward. One of the interesting things with this is I do believe the CFO, not that long ago, again, I do these commentary videos every day, I do believe it was only a few weeks ago, the CFO was talking about pushing OpenAI's IPO into 2027 to make their books make sense. Because remember, one of the things is a private company, there is no transparency into your business, right? The investors may or may not get transparency. They don't necessarily get a lot of transparency. But for the wider world, we really don't know what's going on. One of the interesting things with Anthropic, so we think we know with OpenAI that 90% of their users are free, right? That is something that OpenAI has decided to release. One of the interesting things with Anthropic, we don't actually know how many of your users are free because they just don't want to tell us. And you can do that when you're a private company. The problem is when you do your SEC filings, that's your S1, I think it is, your S1 filing with the SEC, you actually have to put on paper all of this information and people can see what's happening. That's what happened with WeWork, right? WeWork was a $45 billion company. All the way up until they did their SEC filings, people actually got to see what the hell was going on inside the company and went, no. They said no. They said, that's dumb. They said, what the fuck, right? And in 2 years, WeWork didn't just not IPO. They went bankrupt. They just went downhill, right? And so that was one of the things with OpenAI, which actually made sense. It made sense, right? The CFO comes out and says, look, we want to clean up the books. One of the things that she said is we want to be operating now while we are a private company, we want to be operating like we are a public company so that when we release our information, it's pretty seamless. Right? If you have a good business practices when everything is opaque and it's not transparent, well, then when you open up the doors and everybody can see what's going on inside, you're like, oh, that's fine. Nothing to see here, right? It's no big deal. Anyways, and she was talking about that, pushing that off to 2027. And so there's a lot of interesting things that OpenAI is doing. Again, they're pushing the whole ads in ChatGPT, right? $100 million in ARR, supposedly, whatever, right? So they're trying to show that they have revenue in ads. Another interesting thing, again, I was going to do a video on this today, was OpenAI is actually starting to sell contracts for compute capacity. The idea is that AI is resource constrained. And so since they're so resource constrained, they want to pre-sell capacity to their important clients, like actually get them into 1 year, 2 year, 3 year contracts. Now, whether that's a smart idea for their customers, answer is no, it's not. But anyways, whether it's a smart idea for the customers, it actually makes a lot of sense from the CFO's perspective, right? Because look, you now have people locked into contracts. It's not simply, because that's one of the issues, especially when the economy goes sideways. One of the problems that I had when I had my business, we were all time and material billing. Time and material billing means you come in, you have a problem, we charge you for the time, we charge you for the material, you go the fuck out the door. The problem is when a great recession happens and you get paid whenever anybody walks in the door, as soon as people stop walking in the door, you be screwed, right? So anyways, I had friends of mine that had maintenance contracts, right? Companies signed maintenance contracts with them for like a year or whatever else, right? And these are legal contracts. Companies cannot walk away from these contracts. If they try to walk away from the contracts, they will get their asses sued and they will generally lose in court. So I had friends buy that maintenance contracts. When the Great Recession happened, they did better for at least a time than I did because they kept getting monthly payments, right? They had contracts to pay them. And so with the CFO, and so this kind of stuff that you're starting to see is that OpenAI seems to be trying to clean up their business So at least it looks like rational, reasonable. Like whether or not you agree with it, whether or not you think it's going to take over the world, whatever else, you take a look at it, and it's something you can agree with it or you can disagree with it, but at least you know what the hell you're looking at, right? Anyway, so what's really interesting now with OpenAI filing for the IPO now, like we don't know when they'll actually try to do the IPO. Like that's like, really? Like when you look at OpenAI, what about OpenAI in 2026 is actually that interesting, especially if you're thinking about it as an investor, right? I've talked about this, like there's a difference between the technology, the product, and the business itself, right? The technology is neural networks, the product is ChatGPT, and the business is OpenAI. And so when we look at these AI companies that are out there, a lot of them are actually in pretty good positions. Whether they should be valued as they are, who the fuck knows. But at least it makes sense. Like you look at Anthropic, right? What is the value for Anthropic? They have taken over the world of coding, right? If you want to hyperscale the coding capabilities of your institution, they have really tried to lock down the coding world. When you go to Anthropic, you are not buying quote unquote AI, you're buying the ability to rapidly scale coding processes, right? You don't really sell the product even, you sell the solution. That's a solution that Claude is selling. And when you think about it, you understand how they can move that down the pipe, right? If they're integral to things like the coding processes, it makes sense that they'll start focusing more on like corporate workflows. Like once you can do coding, how different is accounting from coding? How different is legal processes from coding? How different is even medical processes, right? There's a lot of stuff out there that can be systematized. We just haven't done it for whatever reason, right? And so you're like, look, Anthropic has really locked down coding, right? So not only do they have this market, but it makes sense that synergistically they can basically laterally move into these other markets. Makes sense. You're like, oh, okay, that's I get what Anthropic is. Should they be worth $1 trillion? Still probably no, but at least I understand the story, right? You look at Google. Look at Google's gonna win. Let me put my $5 on the table. Google wins. Anyways, you look at Google, right? Google is implementing their AI into everything. Again, you're not selling the AI, you're selling the solution. I go to search, I get functionality that comes from AI, right? Google has now released these agents, 24/7 agents. So I can create agents that are able to interact with the internet, able to interact with my calendar, able to interact with my contacts, my email, all of that kind of stuff. I can give it instructions 24/7. It's going to be doing stuff in the background, right? Their AI capabilities, they're building it directly into the Android operating system. They're building it directly into Chrome itself, and Chrome is a very popular web browser now. They're building it into the back end, right? Again, you look at Google, they're selling solutions, they're selling functionality. They're not really selling AI, right? That makes sense. Even you look at Apple. You know what's hilarious? Remember like a year and a half ago where everybody was talking about Apple being a loser? Remember when Apple and Google were losers in the AI race? This is ridiculous. Apple and Google have no idea what they're doing with AI. And now apparently Apple and Google are doing pretty well, right? There's this whole argument with Apple where they're moving, again, integrating artificial intelligence directly into their systems, the whole 9 yards. They already sell the computers, they already sell the iPhones, they already have all of these services. They wrap all of that stuff in. And again, you see what the argument is. Now think about those stories. And think about OpenAI. What is OpenAI's story? When you buy OpenAI, what do you buy? Right? You get ChatGPT. You get a standalone piece of crap little platform that, hey, but you don't understand, Eli, that's the best frontier model out there. Yeah, but again, as I've said many times before, I don't give a crap about these frontier models. Frontier models were really cool back in 2024. Like, oh my God, like 2024, they got a new frontier model. That's amazing. It's not 2024 anymore, right? What do I want to see? What do I want to see now? I want to see integrations. I want to see how you solve my problems. That's what I want to see. So anyways, now we see that OpenAI is pushing their IPO forward when they don't have a pretty story to tell about their business and why it's valuable. They don't have a pretty story to tell about the actual, accounts and revenue and all that kind of stuff. Why are they pushing their IPO forward? Because Elon Musk is having an IPO. And probably because they know the economy is about to go boom. The economy is about to go boom. So anyways, hey, remember, what is it? What is it? Causality? Correlation is not causation. Look, don't blame them when the economy goes boom. Just because their IPOs will occur at the exact same time our economy goes boom doesn't mean that they made the economy go boom. So anyways, we take a look at this. OpenAI is preparing a confidentially file a draft of its IPO prospectus as soon as Friday, as the company gears up for what could be one of the largest public market debuts in history. One of the largest, because it will be smaller than SpaceX. The AI company, which is valued at more than $850 billion by private investors, is working with banks including Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley to prepare to file in the coming days or weeks, according to a source. Quote, as part of the normal governance, we regularly evaluate a range of strategic options, an OpenAI representative said in a statement. Our focus remains on execution. Really? How's that going for you? Are you really focused on execution? I feel like, you're walking into like a teenager's room and they're telling you they're really focused on their homework. And they're really looking at porn. They're really looking at porn. I think you're really focused on like erotica and ads. I don't really feel like you're focused on your execution. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. OpenAI has been preparing to IPO as soon as the fourth quarter of this year. As CNBC previously reported, OpenAI's CFO told CNBC last month that it is, quote, good hygiene for a company of OpenAI's size to, quote, look and feel and act like a public company, but she wouldn't comment on a specific timeline. But it is interesting, from what I recall, she was pushing for 2027, which again, just makes a hell of a lot of sense. And the rest of this is basically a whole bunch of fluff about SpaceX and the bromance with Elon Musk and Sam Altman there. So anyways, yeah, so OpenAI is going to IPO pretty soon too. How do you think this is going to go? And think about this. Again, think about this in 2026. What is OpenAI's story? What is OpenAI's story for $1 trillion? This is not OpenAI's story for $20 billion or $200 billion, right? Literally, OpenAI would be the largest IPO in history by 6 or 7x if it wasn't for SpaceX. Take SpaceX out of the equation, and they still want 6 or 7x what Alibaba was. And now take a look at OpenAI and ask the honest question, where is the story here for anything? And that's the disaster that we're going to get to. And yeah, so anyways, grab some popcorn. Grab some popcorn before all the supply chains fail and you're not able to buy popcorn anymore. Stock up on popcorn so you can kick back while the world explodes. And at least you have something to snack on. You're like, well, it does suck that the entire world is going up in flames, but there's some good popcorn. Popcorn? Anyways, put your thoughts down below. If you do like these episodes, they are on Spotify and on Apple's podcast. Link is in the doobly-doo. Also, if you want to follow me on LinkedIn, there's a link down there too. With that, see y'all later.